Good afternoon, everyone. Afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Let's see, when is the SAP reset date?
The 21st.
Okay, February 21st. Afternoon, Francois, how are you?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Good. I'm well, thank you. Let's see, it is right at 2 o'clock. I am ready when everyone else is ready.
I'm ready.
We'll start with position 7, Mr. Walker.
Good afternoon, Mr. Walker. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are doing by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. You've been charged in case 23 CR 0000775Y with simple battery family violence. Do we have I'm not sure if we have pre-trial on today. Good afternoon, Ms. Dillingham. Do you have the history?
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. I do. This is the defendant's first arrest.
Okay, thank you.
And this incident, Your Honor, occurred on February 5th, 2023, where officers responded to 2900 Laurel Ridge Way, where the defendant and the victim in this case, Benny Hurt, reside together. There, the officers learned that after Mr. Hurt had took the defendant's cell phone and held it over a toilet, the defendant charged Mr. Hurt and a physical altercation ensued, where the defendant began punching Mr. Hurt with closed fists. Your Honor, due to the fact that the defendant did not have a history, the state is going to recommend a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with Benny Hurt, and a stay away order from that address, 2900 Laurel Ridge Way.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Walker is 21 years old, and Mr. Walker is the one who actually called the police because he was attacked by his ex-boyfriend. They broke up now. My client is willing to move out from 2900 Laurel Ridge, even though it is in his name, until his ex-boyfriend finds his own place. My client is willing to stay away from that location. He's scared. He has a black eye, stitches, and he has bite marks all over. He was actually taken into the Grady to get 5 stitches on him. And Your Honor, he's the one who was attacked even more. He was not the one who was original aggressor. He's the one who called the police, and he's scared that he's about calling the police, and now he's getting into the jail for being beaten up. We would like to request for signature on bond. This is his first offense, and he is working as unarmed security, and he's gainfully employed. He worked in the security industry for 2 years, and he graduated from high school successfully. So that's it, Your Honor. Thank you.
It's going to be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. Hurt. Stay away from the Laurel Ridge Way address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Ms. Kim, it appears that Mr. Walker might have a question for you.
I'll give you a call and you can answer me later. I can answer you later, Mr. Walker. You got the signature on bond to your jail, so you can go home.
Thank y'all so much.
Okay, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Position 1, Abernathy.
Good afternoon, Ms. Abernathy. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Abernathy, you've been charged in case 23 CR 0000768F with battery family violence. I've been informed by pretrial that this is Ms. Abernathy's first arrest. Mr. Abdullah, is this your case?
Yes, this is my case, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm not showing that this is her first arrest. It looks like she has 3 cycles. 2 of them are from out of state, 1 from Tennessee, 1 from Alabama. They're both from marijuana, or all 3 of them are from marijuana possession. The facts show that on this particular date, that was September 11th of 2021, officers were dispatched to 174 First Street in reference to a domestic disturbance. Upon arrival, officers met with the defendant, who reported that her and the victim, Mrs. Raven Turner, were involved in a fight. After Ms. Turner returned to the apartment to retrieve her belongings, the defendant told officers that her and Ms. Turner were in the process of breaking up. And when she came to the home, a mutual altercation ensued. Officers contacted Ms. Turner, who told them she left the scene for her safety. Ms. Turner sent pictures to the family violence detective showing scratches to her face and neck as a result of the incident. Because of her remote arrest history, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Raven Turner, a stay away from the 174 First Street address, 1-day anger management, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond.
Yes, Ms. Kim.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Abdullah.
Miss Abernathy is 35 years old and she is employed as a contact manager. She does creative marketing for the medical agency. She's been working there stably for about a year. She has a bachelor's degree. And Your Honor, she has a serious heart condition right now. She has a lupus and her heart rate gets congested. And she does not have proper medicine at the jail. So it is very important and crucial for her to get out of the jail and take care of her medicine. They have no contact whatsoever. Ever since 2021, they have not had any relationships. They broke up. They have not seen each other. It was gone long time ago. We have no objection to no further contact. Stay away from that location as long as she gets home with a signature on bond, so that way she can take care of herself. Thank you.
$2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Raven Turner. Stay away from the 174 First Street address. If need be, she can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Your Honor,
Good
what
luck
was
to
that
you.
bond amount?
$2,000 signature bond through the jail. Okay. Good luck to you, Ms. Abernathy.
Thank
Who do we
you.
have? You're welcome. Who do we have next?
Position 9, Zaldivar.
Good afternoon, Ms. Zaldivar. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Zaldivar, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000773J with driving under the influence of alcohol less safe and improper or erratic lane change. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
First arrest.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred February 5th, 2023, around 11 o'clock p.m. During that time, the defendant was driving at the intersection of Atlanta Street and Canton Street in Roswell when officers observed the defendant veer off the road into a ditch. The officer got out of the car and instructed the defendant to exit the vehicle, to which the defendant exited and was very unsteady, stumbling and falling to the ground multiple times. The officer observed defendant's strong odor of alcohol, slurred speech, red and glassy eyes, and then conducted field sobriety tests that the defendant did not pass. The defendant passed out almost immediately in the back of the squad car. Your Honor, I believe that the defendant is a bartender and was leaving work and admitted to having a couple of drinks. For that reason, the state does have concerns for a risk of reoffense, as the defendant did make the choice to get behind the wheel, putting her life and the lives of others in serious danger. And for that reason, Your Honor, the state is recommending a $3,500 surety bond, $3,000 on the DUI, and $500 on the lane change, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Celia Zaldivar. She is a single, 35 years old. She was born and raised here in actually, she's been here in Georgia about 14 years. Your Honor, today was actually her last day at work because she's getting downsized and getting laid off. So she had to call the work to let them know that she could not be there because of the emergency here. She graduated from high school and she has had really hard time financially because she was getting part-time jobs, but not that many people were hiring at the restaurant industry, so she has not been making much money. So she's actually qualified for public defender services. So our office will continuously represent her. She has no financial means to make a bond, so we would like to request for a signature on bond. And yet, if your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to ask for DUI, $1,000 good bond maximum, and then lane change can be, your honor, signature on bond through jail. Thank you.
All right, for the DUI, it's going to be a $750 good bond. For the improper lane change, a $250 good bond, so a total of $1,000 good bond. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Aldebar.
Thank you, Judge. Position 3, Dennis.
Good afternoon, Ms. Dennis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 000770E with harassing communications. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's a fourth arrest. Last was 2008 terrorist threats. And simple assault was NOD, terrorist threats was dismissed. And before that was a 02 contributing to delinquency of a minor conviction. And before that was in the 90s.
Mr. Abdullah?
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant called and sent text messages to the victim, Miss LaShonda Oates. Miss Oates reported that defendant calls her upwards of 20 to 30 times in a row on multiple different occasions. She's also sent the victim, Mrs. Oates, text messages threatening to beat her up and harassing her. Mrs. Oates has never met or seen the defendant, but believes she is the new partner of her ex-boyfriend, who she has a protective order against. The harassing calls and text messages started immediately after Ms. Oates obtained the protective order on her ex-boyfriend, and the number that the defendant calls from is connected to the ex-boyfriend's name. Miss Oates has changed her personal number. However, the defendant continues to contact her on her business number. Miss Oates is afraid because the defendant found her business number online, which means that she also has her business address where she works on a regular basis. As you heard from pretrial, the defendant does have a history of this type of behavior. She has she was arrested for terroristic threats in 2008 and simple battery in 2008. For this reason, the state is requesting a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, and a stay away from the victim's place of business. I don't have that exact address, but if we could just put something in the order and along those lines as far as a stay away from the victim's place of employment, and no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Nothing further from the state.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Ms. Dennis is 45 years old, Your Honor. And the fact, nothing indicates that it was actually her who texted. I mean, the phone was connected to Reginald Carey, the ex-boyfriend of LaShonda Oates. My client had no clue about this. That's why she voluntarily turned herself in yesterday to resolve this issue. She didn't know about it. She was kind of shocked to find out there was harassing communication charges against her, against someone who she doesn't even know. She has 4 children, Your Honor, and 7 grandchildren, Your Honor. And she's gainfully employed at Maritime Mobility, and she completed up to 9th grade. Your Honor, even though she's working, she does not make a lot of money. So she's qualified for our public defender services. So she has not much financial resources to make a bond payment. So we would like to request for signature on bond for this case that happened 2022. Her battery case that happened, which was dismissed, the terroristic threat was 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago. Absolutely more than 10 years. It's very remote. We would like to request for signature on bond for this. Thank you.
All right, it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Oates. Stay away from Ms. Oates's place of employment, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Dennis.
Position 6, Myron.
Good afternoon, Mr. Myron. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 23 CR 000776Y with 3 counts of battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
It's his second arrest. He was arrested last month in Arizona. Criminal damage and disorderly conduct fighting. That appears to be open. That's
Ms.
it.
Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred yesterday, February 6th, where officers responded to 1132 Chattahoochee Circle in Roswell, where the victim, Diamond Warren, and the defendant, who is her boyfriend, reside. There, the officers learned that a verbal argument between the two about Miss Warren's income ensued. And then the defendant became enraged and aggressive towards her. Miss Warren tried to de-escalate the situation by walking into the kitchen when the defendant began attacking her. The defendant struck and punched Miss Warren repeatedly in the face, bit her leg. Upon the officer's arrival, they observed Miss Warren's face covered in blood, a laceration from her head to her nose, a swollen lip, bruise marks on her chest, neck, and back area, and a bite mark on her left thigh. Her injuries were so severe that she had to be transported to the hospital. Officers located the defendant outside of the apartment where he stated, "I know what I did, just take me to jail, I'm getting arrested." And Your Honor, due to the reoccurring cycles of domestic violence and the concerns for the safety of Miss Warren and risk of reoffense, and the fact that there's no cooling off period as this happened yesterday, the state is requesting a $12,000 surety bond, $4,000 for each count, a stay away order from that address, 1132 Chattahoochee Circle, and no further contact with Diamond Warren. We would also like to sound for the victim.
Okay. I'll give Ms. Warren the opportunity to speak if she's here. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Myron Newsome is 24 years old and he resides at Arizona and Illinois, 50-50 time. He's been doing DoorDash for about 4 years. He also sells t-shirts. He completed up to 11th grade and he has a GED. Your Honor, he says that the location is actually Mr. Myron Newsome's family house. So she's going to be the one who has to be moved out. However, my client is willing to stay away from the location and have no further contact with her. Indeed, my client denies the allegations. He believes that it is made up story, but we would like to request for a signature on bond. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond because of another open case in another state, we would like to request for $1,000 good bond for each charge, making $3,000 good bond. Thank you.
And if I may, just briefly in response to that, the defendant did admit to the police on body cam that he punched Miss Warren in the face multiple times.
Ms. Warren, if you are with us, now is your opportunity to address the court if you choose to. Of course, you don't have to. If you would like to address the court, and if you are present, you'll have to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. I don't see Ms. Warren on the line. As such, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond per charge, which makes it a total of a $6,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Warren. Stay away from the Chattahoochee address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings that he might have there. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you, Mr. Myron.
Position 5, Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000772J with 2 counts of simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
You got 32 total. Previous 30 come come out of Denver. 2021 trespass. That was a conviction. 2021 damage to property that appears to be open. 2017 probation. 2016 failure to appear. Another 2016 failure to appear. 2015, it says driving under restraint. That was a conviction. 2014 failure to appear. Possession of a controlled substance conviction from 2013. 2013 FTA. 2013 child abuse conviction. 2012, it says arrested for other jurisdiction. 2011 assault conviction.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor, this incident occurred yesterday, February 6th, where officers responded to the bus loop at West End MARTA Station located at 680 Lee Street. There they learned that the defendant struck the first victim, Junior Trujillo, with a closed fist unprovoked, and then struck the second victim, Hengelberth Beltran, also unprovoked. And Your Honor, due to the fact that these crimes were unprovoked and the violent nature of them and the defendant's history of assault convictions, the state is going to recommend a $4,000 surety bond, $2,000 on each count, a stay away order from the West End MARTA Station, and no further contact with either victim, Junior Trujillo or Hengelberth Beltran.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Jones is 46 years old. His parents and his sister are here in Georgia. That's why they invited him to move over here from Colorado to have a fresh start. So he moved about 1 month ago. Indeed, those 2 individuals, Junior and Beltran, they attacked my client at the elevator. So my client was provoked and attacked first, and he was defending himself. He is a single. He has 2 children, 15 and 10 years old, that he has to send out $500 child support every month. He has a GED, and right now, because of all the unemployment, he's going to be qualified for public defender services. He has no funds to actually pay for the bond. We would like to request for a signature on bond. And yet, if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request maximum $1,000 good bond, $500 each, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, it's going to be a $1,000 good bond per charge, which makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. Stay away from the West End MARTA Station. No further contact with Mr. Trejo or Beltran, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position
Welcome.
4, Johnson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Johnson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000771C with criminal trespass and fare evasion. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
I got 41 total. Last arrest was January 18th out of Doraville for giving false name. failure to appear from January. Well, two different ones anyway. One of them was for shoplifting. 2020, failure to appear. 2020 probation. 2019 shoplifting trespass, it was bind over. 2019 shoplifting conviction. 2019 giving false name, NOLO. Got another failure to appear. 2019 shoplifting. 2019 shoplifting conviction. 2019 shoplifting arrest with a given false name. What else? 2018 failure to appear. 2017 shoplifting NOLO.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Abdullah?
Your Honor, the defendant on February 6, 2023, pushed his way through the fare gates at 5 Point Station. The defendant was issued a criminal trespass warning for MARTA on January 4th of 2023. He also has an open MARTA case under case number 22 CR 003969C. In addition to his 41 cycle arrest record. For this reason, the state is recommending $1,000 pretrial signature bond through pretrial for the criminal trespass, and $1,000 signature through pretrial on the fare evasion for a total of $2,000 total, and to comply with the MARTA suspension, as well as no weapons, drugs, or alcohol while on bond. Nothing else from the state, Your Honor.
Mr. Abdullah, the open MARTA case that he has, is that a criminal trespass, and is it open in state court?
It is a criminal trespass, and it is open in this court. I couldn't pull up the bond information, but I can tell you what judge he went in front of. Looks like Judge Dixon.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Kim?
We have no objection to signature on bond. Both of them were signature on bond, Your Honor, so we would like to take it as long as we prefer signature on bond through jail, but we have no objection.
I prefer it too.
All right, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond on each count through the jail, makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Abide by any MARTA restrictions, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. I'm gonna take the recommendation, Mr. Johnson, but you know that if you don't show back up to court, they're gonna put a warrant out for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Position 2, Davis.
Good afternoon, Mr. Davis. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we're conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? That's a yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Davis, you've been charged in case 23 CR 000769F with driving while your license was suspended or revoked and expired tag or unregistered vehicle. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
36 total. Last was 2020. Failure to appear, theft by taking, theft by deception. Driving without a valid license conviction, 2020 out of Henry County. 2019 theft by taking. The majority of his history is theft. He went to felony early and got no bond, so.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Abdullah?
Yes, Your Honor. In addition to those theft charges, he does have a suspended license conviction from 2016, a suspended license conviction from 2018, a fleeing from 2018, and a fleeing from 2020. The defendant was pulled over on February 6th after officers noticed that his tag had expired in May of 2022. Officers initiated the stop and made contact with the defendant. And after running his license, it returned suspended, and the defendant was wanted on 5 warrants from surrounding counties. The defendant does have more than 10 FTAs from traffic court, as well as 2 FTAs from state court from 2018 and 2020. For this reason, the state is recommending $1,000 surety bond on each charge. No driving without a valid license and registration. Nothing further from the state.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Mr. Davis is 48 years old and he's been working as a contractor for home improvement. He's been doing that for about 20 years. He graduated from high school and he's not qualified for public defender's service. So my representation will end at the end of the bond hearing. Your Honor, he already has no bond from the felony court, so he's got bigger fish to fry. We would like to request for signature on bond for these two driving related charges, Your Honor. And he also has six other counties that he has to take care of in terms of warrants. Thank you.
All right, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond through the jail on each charge, making for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and of course, no driving without a valid license. Good luck to you, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Your Honor, sir.
You're welcome.
Position 8, Wiggins.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wiggins. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Your Honor, really quick, we had requested this in an email, but just to request if we could have this at the end,
This is.
unless this is the end. Is this?
Yes,
the end? Oh, okay, okay. My apologies.
Okay, you're fine. Let's see. Mr. Wiggins, you've been charged in case 23 CR 0007777G with possession and use of drug-related objects and one other misdemeanor offense. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Is this out of East Point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because the last cycle showed January 30th out of East Point for these charges. That's what I was asking. July 2022, martyr, PI, theft by taking, aggravated battery. That's open out of DeKalb County, along with the riot and penal institution, 2021. 2019, probation, underlying charges, ag assault, burglary. 2019, probation, simple battery. Possession of meth, possession of drug-related objects, conviction, 2019. Simple battery, ag assault, conviction, 2019. 2019, giving false name, conviction. 2018, probation for assault, burglary, and meth. 2018, shoplifting, NOLO. 2016, parole violation. 2016, possession of meth, conviction. 2016, another parole violation. 2016, false imprisonment, criminal trespass, arrest. Want me to keep going?
I think I got it. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Dillingham?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident occurred January 30th, 2023, where officers responded to the Washington Food Mart at 3887 Washington Road. When they arrived, they observed the defendant with his pants down, touching himself inside of the business next to a slot machine. When they confronted the defendant, he stated, "I did not know I could do that. I couldn't do that here." While they were arresting the defendant, they found a clear pipe with burn marks in his pocket. And Your Honor, as pretrial had mentioned, so this was a state bind over case, and due to a Riverside issue on the public indecency charge, where the defendant didn't have an appearance within the first 72 hours, the state has no choice but to recommend a signature bond on that charge, despite the egregious acts that were comprehensively stated in the warrant. The defendant did, however, have an appearance on the possession charge. So for that reason, the state is recommending a $5,000 split bond, $1,000 surety on possession, and then $4,000 signature on the public indecency. And then, of course, a stay away from the Washington Food Mart.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wiggins is 30 years old.
Hold on, Mr. Wiggins. You have a right to remain silent, okay? Anything you say can be used against you. Let Ms. Kim talk for you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Mr. Wiggins is 30 years old, and Your Honor, he was arrested on January 30, 2023 for these two charges. And of course, he was at East Point Jail. He's been in the jail for 8 days. I do understand that possession and use of drug-related objects had it didn't have a Riverside issue, and yet he had more than time served for that charge. We would like to request for signature on bond for that charge as well through the jail. He has no income whatsoever because he was incarcerated right before this incident. Another 1 year he was in jail for a whole year. He has no job, nobody to bail him out. He's financially very strained. He is qualified for public defender service, so we will continuously represent him, and we would like to request for signature on bond for all charges. Thank you.
All right, so for the possession, $1,000 signature bond through the jail. For the PI, a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Washington Road address, and no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Wiggins. He still has a question, Ms. Kim.
I'll call you to explain. Please do not say anything. You got the signature on bond through jail.
No, I just, it's.
Please, please. This is your constitutional right to stay silent, which is really good, and it protects you.
I just want to be able to tell them that I was transferred over here only for one charge, which was the possession of paraphernalia object. My other charge for the public indecency was dismissed in the city of East Point jail. That's why this charge was bounded over the paraphernalia object was bounded over to, because it's a state charge, to Fulton County. And I just wanted that to be over the record so everyone would know, because I'm now being placed upon both charges at this court. When I was already just at the last court yesterday, they dismissed, the judge dismissed in East Point jail the public indecency, and I only had one charge left, which was the possession of paraphernalia object, which is the one that I was coming over here for now. And me coming here, the officers here said the only charge that I'm facing here is the paraphernalia object. They don't, you know what I mean? I don't understand why I'm in charge still with the public indecency.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Yes, so as I mentioned, due to the Riverside issue, I believe that is why the municipal court had dismissed the public indecency. However, the state has refiled that accusation due to the fact that there was a witness and these facts were comprehensively stated in the warrant. We are going to proceed with that charge.
Okay, so Mr. Wiggins, you've gotten a signature bond. Ms. Kim will represent you or her office as you move forward with these matters. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I believe that concludes today's 2 o'clock calendar. Ms. Bridgewater, when you are ready, we can go over, and I'll see you all Thursday, I guess.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good
Thank
one.
You have a good evening.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, once again, the reset date for the SAP calendar is February the 21st. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4, reset further notice with a total $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 5 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $2,000 good bond. Position 6 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $6,000 good bond. Position 7, reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 8, reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through the jail. And position 9 is going to the SAP calendar with a total $1,000 good bond. Are there any questions, comments, or otherwise? Okay, we did it.
All right.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Ms. Kim. I see everybody else is gone. Judge is on his way to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Bridgewater.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
you also,
Bye-bye.
Ms. Hall.
See you Thursday.